All right, welcome in. As you've noticed, superstition has been on my mind. And if you've watched a few of my interviews that I've been a part of, then you know that I've identified as anti-superstitious and not necessarily anti-religion. And in another video, I am going to highlight some of the reasons why. If you're interested in watching any of those interviews, I have made a public playlist on my YouTube channel where you can go find all of the places that I've interviewed with other channels on YouTube, and it's a lot of places, and there's still more to come. So uh, I'd like for you to join me on this thought experiment that I've been pondering ever since the first time I saw the movie Idiocracy. And while the premise of the movie is obviously meant to be extreme satire, in the light of recent events, particularly here in the US, many are beginning to wonder that if the trajectory of the majority continues unchanged, is societal regression possible or even inevitable, dare I say it? Now, I can't speak to inevitability, but I'd like to share my thoughts and experiences on the possibility. This is a great place if you haven't already to go ahead and like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, like for real, what are you waiting on? That's the best way to get notified anytime we drop new content. And of course, if you'd like to be a part of supporting content like this and being a part of our growing community, consider joining our Patreon by clicking the link in the description. So the question is, are we going backwards? And or is it possible that we could be going backwards or that we could go backwards? And yes, there are scenarios where an over reliance on superstition at the expense of critical thinking and empirical evidence could potentially cause societal or species wide regression. This regression can manifest in several ways, highlighting the importance of maintaining a balance between cultural beliefs and rational, evidence based understanding. Here's some key areas where superstition, if it becomes predominant over rationality, which I'd like to remind you, currently it is predominant. We are still the growing minority. If it remains that way, and perhaps maybe if we don't grow fast enough, then yes, there's still plenty of time to contribute to such regression. So let's start at the first key area, which is healthcare decisions. A preference for superstition based health remedies over scientifically proven treatments can lead to poor health outcomes and higher mortality rates. For example, choosing prayer or ritualistic healing over medical treatment for serious conditions can result in preventable deaths and outbreaks of diseases that are otherwise controllable or eradicable with vaccinations and modern medicines. And I'd like to remind you that there are plenty of denominations who actually advocate against the use of medicine and advocate for using prayer or Christian Science or any other form of pseudoscience as opposed to actual medicine or proper health care in any form of events. In my community, ooh, I'm almost afraid to say it because I know I'm going to get some backlash in the comments that there are people who will forego the doctor's orders in belief that something they read from a Dr. Seby's interview will be better for them health wise. These are superstition based health remedies. These are things that we're not looking for scientific proof for. We're just glad somebody said it, and so we follow through on it. And again, I'd like to use my community here. And actually, I just ask for that you take a look at any community that has high attachments to superstition, and you're going to find some healthcare inadequacies there. Another key area is education. Superstition can undermine education by promoting non critical thinking and discouraging inquiry based learning. If superstition is taught as fact in schools, it can stifle intellectual curiosity and critical thinking skills, leading to a population less equipped to engage with or innovate in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which are the STEM fields. This in turn can hinder technological and scientific advancement. Again, I'd implore you to take a look at communities who have a high attachment to superstition. My community just so happens to be one, and then actually take a look at the percentage of people that those communities are nurturing who are interested in those STEM fields. And it's not that those communities themselves are anti-STEM. Those communities can promote STEM projects, can offer STEM scholarships, but if critical thinking is subsequently and simultaneously discouraged, then you're going to get more entertainers and athletes and even politicians who are often just entertainers in suits than you're going to get anything else. And again, that's not something that we have to ponder about. That we don't even have to do a thought experiment on that. The data's already out and the data's already cleared there. Another key area is social and societal progress. Superstitions can reinforce existing prejudices, as we've seen, and contribute to the enactment of regressive policies, as we're literally seeing right now in the United States. For instance, superstitions surrounding gender, race, sexuality, the definition of life can validate discriminatory practices and laws, hampering efforts towards equality and social justice. Furthermore, political decisions influenced by superstition rather than evidence based analysis can lead to ineffective or harmful policies. And I can't help but to think of the drug war in the States, because in these sense, we must be clear in understanding that many of these laws were not promoted for the safety of the user, but for the convenience of the believer. I'll move on. The next area is economic development. An economy that favors superstition-driven practices may hinder its development by investing in unproductive sectors. For instance, resources might be allocated to appease supernatural forces instead of being invested in infrastructure, education, or healthcare. Moreover, superstitions can lead to economic behaviors that are not optimized for growth, such as aversion to risk taking based on auspicious dates rather than market analysis, or spending money on things that you can't afford simply to feel like you're keeping up in life. Those type of behaviors come from a lack of critical engagement in how reality works around you, or investing in things that are not really investing in you. So while I am not necessarily anti-church, and I'll do a video on that kind of explaining why, mind you, I'm still anti-superstition, but I will agree that the church has been one of the black church, black church has been one of the most unproductive sectors in the black community, and yet it has been able to garner a significant amount of investment from the black community. But the black church doesn't stand alone there. Nike is also in that same environment, a place that is the black community has invested in significantly, primarily based off of its need to just want and not a critical analysis of how to engage with the world around it. These are the insidious ways that we don't often think about how superstition impacts our thinking and the way that we engage with the world. And because we typically think of economies from a national perspective, we don't actually observe microeconomies, which I find to be illuminating. So let's continue. The next area is environmental conservation. Superstitious beliefs many times come in conflict with environmental conservation efforts. For example, certain animals or humans may be hunted to near extinction due to beliefs in their magical properties. Or superstition based farming practices might lead to unsustainable use of land and water resources. Or a superstitious belief that there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth might make you say, well, who cares about pollution, global warming, or climate change, or any other thing like that? The earth is going to be destroyed anyway. And then the next key area, which I'll make the last one, is social cohesion. Superstitions can create divisions within and between communities when certain groups are stigmatized based on superstition based fears. This can lead to social unrest, violence, and a breakdown in community relations, eroding the social fabric essential for collaborative progress and mutual support. Again, I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for my context of my community. I've seen marriages destroyed because of a superstitious belief that a woman is supposed to be less than a man. I've seen families ripped apart because of a superstitious belief that children are supposed to share the imaginary friends of their parents. I've seen souls damaged. I've seen communities torn apart, literally. Many of the movements in my community where we were actually trying to get unified around real solutions got ripped to shreds over petty issues. For example, to this date, it's hard to get together people who identify as Pan Africanist or Black nationalist, which I know that's controversial, because some of them don't like people of the LGBTQ plus community. It's actually a big issue. But then it goes deeper than that. Superstitions, our superstitions enable these divisions by making us feel comfortable making decisions without reason. And if you're comfortable making decision without reason, then you're going to be comfortable disliking other people without reason. You might even be tempted to be comfortable harming other people without reason. The relationship with superstition has nuanced impacts on society and human progress. While cultural beliefs and practices play a significant role in shaping identity and values, an overemphasis on superstition at the expense of critical thinking and empirical evidence can indeed lead to societal regression. Promoting education that emphasizes critical thinking, scientific literacy, and skepticism towards unfounded beliefs is essential in mitigating these risks, ensuring that societies can benefit from their cultural heritage without sacrificing progress and well being. Thank you.